I'm Harry. I work for Opticon for almost 25 years in sales. And in general, today we want to explain a little bit more about technology, about the scanning. But I also would like to tell you and your customers about Opticon, because we are already 45 years in business. So it means we already manufacture for many years. And we are one of the eldest companies that has experience in selling barcode scanning products. Well, here you see an overview of our history. So you can see that 45 years we started in Japan. In 1984 we started in the USA, and in 1987 we started in the Netherlands. On a different location. We are now in a new building since 1979, and we also have a lot of regional offices. Like we have group offices in the UK, Italy, and many other countries. Well, here you see the locations of our offices in a map. Well, this is one of the most important advantages of Opticon. We have a repair team, so technical support. We have development support, but we also have we do repairs here in the Netherlands to support our customers in Europe. So it means that SOS Electronic can also rely on these services. Well, in general, we do business in all kind of markets, as you can see here on the screen. Well, one of the biggest is of course the retail, but also in logistics and healthcare, we do a lot of scanning sales. Well, this is the product overview of Opticon. Well, today we focus on OEM and fixed mount. But besides that, we also sell handheld scanners, mobile computers, and digital solutions like ESL. Well, in all these years, of course, we have plenty of big customers and partners worldwide in all kinds of regions and applications. And also for OEM and fixed mount scanners. Well, one of the strong points of Opticon is the developing of new scan engines and fixed mount. And we even sell our engines to our competition. So that's quite unique. Well, where you can find the solutions for OEM and fixed mount? Well, one of the biggest markets is life science and medical and healthcare. We have commercial applications, and I will show you some examples where you can find it. So we sold it for laboratory automation. So the scan engines of fixed mount scanner is implemented in this device. And there are many of this kind of devices that we sell OEM modules to. Here, there's another one. So we have many solutions for that. And that's for CCD, for laser, and for 2D solutions. Also for blood analysis, we sell our engines, and not only in the USA, also in Europe. Point of sales for blood analysis. Another part is the commercial. So, for example, mobile POS solution. Engines are integrated into a camera with a holder, and we use in general our 1D scanners for this. But now recently we also integrate 2D scanners in this kind of products. Well, a very big application for our fixed mount scanning and modules is the parking. So there are many parking companies that use our scan engines in Europe, but also in the United States. Well, this is diagnostics again. Well, of course, kiosk is very important for our fixed mount and modules. Here another big kiosk device. Well, in general, of course, it's for a sales guy, it's quite difficult to find some new customers. I know that it's quite, of course, you know the companies that that are interested in scanning technology, that need our modules, but you also have to find them. And my experience is that especially people that are working for R&D for this kind of companies are interested in our modules. So if you try to contact a person, you should focusing on engineers and not on the vice president or the president of the company. Well, this is some more technical information. What you have to know if you make a selection of a device, then you have to know what kind of density of barcodes we have to read. Well, one aspect that's the density, of course, but another aspect, what's very important, is the depth of field. So it means if you want to scan from a big distance, then you cannot use a CCD module, but then you need a laser or a 2D module. And this kind of information is all described also on our website, that you can make a selection for the right device. Probably you know already the properties of a CCD scanner. You can read from a low distance, and it has a fast scan rate. And the big advantage for CCD scanners, it has no moving parts. So it means it's very reliable. But the disadvantage is that you can only read 1D barcodes and not 2D barcodes. So of course, if you have to read 2D barcodes, you cannot decide for a CCD scanner. Well, this is for laser. Well, with laser you can read from big distances, but you cannot read from a display. And then for 2D, you can read 1D and 2D barcodes, and also we have devices that can read from big distances, but also nearby. And the 2D scanners are very reliable because you have no moving parts. Well, in general, this is the information I give about Opticon and what we are doing. We have on our website, you can see the whole range of products we sell for 1D, 2D barcodes for OEM and fixed mount sales. I will show you later after the presentation of Ben. So there are many scanners that we can promote to SOS Electronic. We also show you some of the scanners hereby during the presentation. Okay, thanks.
Well, hello. My name is Ben Hartman. I've been working at Opticon for over 12 years now, and I am mainly responsible for the technical support. So anyone who writes an email to support or calls the support number will probably get me, and I will try to help customers or even end users so that they can use their scanner in the way that they want to use their scanner. Let me just start up the presentation. Today I want to give you guys some information mainly about our OEM and fixed mount scanners, how to use them and also how to configure them. You see behind me lots of different shapes of scanners used for different applications. We have for example a passport reader, which is ideal to read passports or ID cards. We also have these smaller scanners which are used often, like Harry already described, to build into other devices like vending machine or ticketing machines, and also the OEM modules which you can build into a tablet or a smartphone or in a place where you have very little space. Well, how do you connect your scanner? Our OEM modules are very advanced. If we take a closer look at the connection pins of the OEM module, we see that they have a serial output, meaning that you have a two-way communication. But if you look at pin 7 and pin 9, you see also that our OEM modules already support direct USB communication. So if you do not want to use the serial interface, it is also possible to connect the OEM module directly as a USB device. You do have to configure the scanner. This is how it looks, the connections. Most common nowadays is the USB, we see it on the left, the USB cable. I think everybody knows a USB cable. On the right we see a serial cable. This is what was used before we had USB. The advantages of the serial cable is that you have a two-way communication. But if we use the USB cable nowadays, we can also configure it to emulate or act as if it were a serial device, or we can use it as a keyboard device. The advantage of using the scanner as a keyboard is that you need no additional drivers or software on your PC or tablet or whatever you connect your scanner to, because if this device supports a HID keyboard, then the scanner will also work. To switch between interfaces, we have to configure the scanner. So we can use these codes to switch between the different interface types. And once the scanner is set up, it will work that way until you reconfigure it. So you only have to configure it once. Of course, we have a lot of options for the scanners. In the past, we used to have this universal config book. When a sales representative would go to a customer, they would bring this book and he would hand it out to a customer, and they would use this book to configure their scanner. The book contains the most used barcode or the most used options. So most customers could use this book to fully configure their scanner and make it work in the way that they need the scanner to work. Nowadays we made a digital version of the menu book. Of course, it is convenient, everyone has access to online, but also for Opticon it's very convenient, because when the book is not a physical book like we have here, but on a digital platform, it is easy for us to add new codes and new options to it every day if we need to. To find the online configuration page, you can go to the Opticon website. If you go to Service and Support, you get a drop-down menu, and from the drop-down menu you can select Configure Scanner. If you click it, you go to the next page where you can press the big button saying Start Configuring. Once you press this button, it will bring you to our OptiConfigure website. This is how the OptiConfigure website looks. On the left you have some tabs and a drop-down menu, and from there you can select the different barcode options. On the right you have some options to print or to save a configuration or start over, clear the current barcode list. One of the most important options to use or to know about is always that we can set the scanner to default. So it doesn't matter if you are trying to configure a scanner and it does not work out, you can always put the scanner back to default. If we open the drop-down menu on the left, we can select the option for defaults. A box will appear below, right here. And then we can select the interface of our choice. Most commonly used is USB HID. If you buy a scanner new from the box, most of our scanner models will default be already configured for USB HID, which means it's a keyboard. Once the interface is selected and we press the Add button, on the middle of the website a configuration sheet will appear. And you can scan this configuration sheet from top to bottom with any of our scanners. With the 1D or with the 2D scanner, you can just scan each label from top to bottom, and the scanner will be configured. Each sheet we make will have a set code at the start and an end code at the end. Once you scan the set, the scanner will go into a configuration mode. It will start making sounds indicating it's now in configuration mode, and once you scan the end label, it will stop the configuration and reboot with the settings you have just selected. When you scan a option, for example USB HID, the scanner will indicate with a beep that the option is accepted. If an option is not accepted, because for example you try to scan a Bluetooth option with a scanner that does not have Bluetooth, then the scanner will give an error beep to indicate that the option is not supported. We can make lots of different configurations. I just want to go through one as an example. Often I get the question, how do I change the suffix of a scanner? What is a suffix? Every time you scan a barcode, the scanner will automatically press the enter button to go to the next line. This is in the suffix, it's not a part of the barcode data, it's something that the scanner adds to the data that's being sent from the scanner to the PC. But sometimes a customer does not want an enter, or for example they use the scanner in Excel and when you press enter you go one square down, but you want to go one square to the right. And that is done by pressing the tab key. So we want to change the suffix. On the left drop down menu, if we open it, we can press the option string options. And if we press that, a new drop down menu will appear. In this menu we can choose for suffix. A suffix is always something that's after the barcode data. There's also a prefix if you want something in front of the barcode data. But for this example we will choose the suffix. Then we can select for what barcode type do we want to use this suffix. For each different barcode type, code 128, QR code, data matrix, code 39, for each different barcode type, it is possible to configure a different prefix and a different suffix. So if you want to differentiate between different barcode types, that is possible. In most cases you want the same suffix for all the barcodes, so in this case we can select all codes. And once we do that, we see that below in the box we get 4 options. We can put up to 4 different characters as a suffix. If we would leave it empty and we would now press the add button, it means that we would clear the suffix, we would remove the suffix. But if we would put some characters in the drop down menus, for example a tab, like I just said, I also put a 1 for a quantity and then a return, the enter key, just as an example. And if we would add this to the configuration, you see that it is added to the current configuration. So we have the default label and then we change the suffix to tab 1 and then the enter. If we would use this configuration before configuration, you see that if we scan in Excel, a barcode output is like this. Here we scan the code 4 times and each time the cursor is moved 1 field down. If you would now scan this configuration and scan the same barcode again 4 times, you see that for each scan the cursor is moved 1 field to the right, where it puts the 1 as a quantity, and then it presses the enter to go to the next line. So that is the difference that you can make with such a simple configuration. For a 1D scanner, this sheet is easy to scan. A CCD scanner or a laser scanner is usually one scan line, and you can easily move the scan line over the configuration from top to bottom. For a 2D scanner, it can be a bit more difficult because you have an aiming bar, but the scanner can also read around the aiming bar. So if you want to be sure that you read the full configuration and correct configuration, you can use a cover-up sheet, but we can also change the barcode on the optical figure website. On the right you see barcode size, and if you press it, it will open a drop-down menu and you can change the barcode size to small. In the next drop-down menu, if you press barcode type, a next drop-down menu will appear, and we can change the barcode type from code 39, which is the default, to PDF 417. And once we do that, you see on screen it happens. The whole configuration is put into one barcode, so that makes it easy to scan with your 2D barcode scanners. There's lots and lots of different options that we have. Of course, the default options. We have also code options. Each barcode type individually can be enabled or disabled. Sometimes you only want the scanner to read certain barcode types, and you want to exclude everything else. You don't want people to show up with their own barcodes and scan them on your ticketing machine or on your parking lot, so you want to exclude these, so you can disable barcode types that you do not need. There are code specific options. Each barcode type, some have check digits that you want to show or not show, start and stop digits that you might want to show or not show, and also sometimes you want to either enable or disable certain parts of the code. If a check digit is in a barcode, it's an extra check. If the check digit is not correct or not there, then you don't scan the code, but sometimes you want to scan the code anyway. So these are all things that you can configure. There are read mode options, especially for the OEM modules. You don't always want to press the scan button to start scanning. Sometimes you want the scanner to be on all the time or automatically detect when a barcode is in range. So you can configure this with the read mode options. You can change the reading time, the margin check, something that's often requested. When a barcode is in a box, sometimes there's not enough clearance space to read a barcode, so you can tune it to make the barcode scanner still read this barcode. Indicator options, we can change the sound of a scanner, the buzzer settings, the volume, the type of beep that it gives, a good read signal. You can turn it off. You can also do the same with the LEDs. You can give a good read, a green LED, and if something is wrong, it can give a red LED. You can also configure this with all with the optical figure website. And then there's lots and lots of more options that that we have available. So if you want to have a look, please do. Well, this is the optical figure website. On the left, if you see the 5 tabs, we also have one tab that is the data wizard. The data wizard is a method of making a more advanced configuration. The options we previously talked about are just code specific options, but there are things that you can enable, disable, or you can choose a certain read mode. With the data wizard, we can actually do more advanced things. We can take parts of the code and remove it, or only output certain parts of the code, replace characters. It gives us a more control over the scanner. When we have a certain barcode but we want to output it in a different way, then we can use the data wizard for this. When you start the data wizard, we can always you always have to select some matching conditions. Matching conditions are the conditions that need to be met before the configuration is executed. As you see on the screen, we can match for a barcode type and a barcode ID, a code 39, a QR code. If we select, for example, code 39, our configuration will only be executed when we scan a code 39. You can also match on barcode length. If you know that your barcode is always a fixed length, you can set it up to execute only on this barcode length, or you can even match on specific barcode characters and even in a certain position. So if your barcode always starts with 35, you can match for that. Once you have the matching conditions complete, we can change the build output, and the build output is the part of the code that the scanner actually sends to the PC. You can add characters. For example, you can start from a certain position. If you start from position 0 and then you end at character but exclude, for example, the letter A, then the barcode scanner will output from the beginning until letter A, and then you can make selections, parts of the codes that you need or don't need, and include or exclude them from the output. In this example, we added ABC at the end of the code. Then at the end we have some options for post-processing. These are options that are done after the build output is selected. With the post-processing, we can replace characters. So if you have a certain character in the barcode, you can replace it with a different character. And it is also possible to change the output length. If your barcode needs to be a certain minimum length, we can fill it at the start or at the end with any specific character. We can fill it up with spaces, with zeros, whatever the output needs. And if a barcode is too long, we can also cut it off from the start or at the end, and just remove the rest of the data. There's an option to transmit only validated barcodes. If you want the scanner to only output barcodes that fit your matching conditions, that is also an option. And with all these options, we can make a really big and really long configuration that really changes the output of the scanner to fit exactly what the end user needs. I do need to add to this that this configuration, this data wizard part, is only for our 1D scanners, so the CCD or the laser scanners. For the 2D scanners, we have a more advanced configuration method. We can use it with the universal config tool, and with this we can make configurations using a kind of programming language that is called a regular expression. This makes it more difficult to make a configuration, but it does make the possibilities almost endless. There is so much we can do because of this regular expression configuration method, and I will show you a couple. Here's one example. This is a Thai Lion Air boarding pass, and you see at the bottom this big line of text. That is the output that is generated when you scan one of the two codes on this boarding pass. The customer wanted to input in their system the seat number, and they wanted to use the scanner for this. They didn't need this whole number. Their system could not handle it. They only wanted to have the seat number. And on the in the red squares you see the seat numbers. So we had to make a configuration for this. One of the other things, we can take these 4 characters from the code. But they did not, the system where they were scanning into could not handle any leading zeros. So if the boarding or the seat number contained 000A, their system could not handle 000A, it could not find it. It wanted only the A without the zeros. So if a seat number was 4 digits, it works fine, but if it's 3, 2 or even 1 digit, it needed to remove the leading zeros from the output. So we made the configuration for this. Basically what this configuration does is it matches for a PDF type barcode, and then in the brackets you see 240Y. The scanner looks for the part of the code that says 240Y. This is always in the boarding passes, and we know that the 4 characters after the Y are the seat number. So the scanner will take those 4 characters and remove the rest and everything in front, and only takes these four characters. And then you see in the part where it says bracket 00 bracket, it actually removes 3 zeros if there are 3 zeros. It removes 2 zeros if there are 2, and it removes 1 zero if there is 1 zero. And then it only outputs the seat number. Let me just show you. Here we have the boarding pass without configuration. You see that it outputs the full string of data. If we now configure the scanner, now it's configured. So if you scan the same code again, you see that it only outputs 6A, which is the seat number. Another big advantage of the 2D scanner is the ability to read multiple barcodes in one scan. Here's one label of a customer that needed to scan this whole label, and then it wanted different parts of information. On this label we have 5 different types of barcode: a code 39, a UPC, 2 more code 39s, and then also a code 128 barcode. All of these barcodes are fixed length, so we know what the number of characters in each barcode is. So we can tell the scanner to identify these 5 types of barcodes, and if it does find one of them, it will keep looking for the other 4. Once it has detected all 5, the scanner will output the codes like this. It will always output the model, the serial number, like as shown on the screen. Another big option of the 2D scanners that we have is the ability to read official travel documents like ID cards or passports. We also have the passport reader, of course, which makes it very easy, because when you put a card on top of the scanner, you know that you always have the perfect focus distance, so the scanner is always seeing everything on the card and the focus is always on the best, so it will scan very easy and very fast. If we would enable this option to read this Dutch ID card, we can hold our scanner on the readable OCR part on the bottom of the card, and the scanner will simply output all the data that is on the card. Another big advantage is the part on the bottom of the ID card is an OCR readable text, and it is also possible to read a custom created OCR code. We can also configure this with the universal config tool. There is a button for OCR reading, and once you press it, it will open up a new window where you can configure exactly for each character what kind of character it is. Is it an alphabetic character, a numeric character, is it a space or a specific character? You can have 1 or 2 lines of OCR, and once you configure everything exactly in the way that you need it to scan, you can press the OK button, and the tool will generate a QR code for you to scan. You scan it once, and then the scanner is configured to read your OCR barcodes. Yeah. If you have questions, then please let us know.
Are there some questions about the presentation of Ben?
Hi Ben, I would like to ask if scanning these barcodes or QR codes are only the method how to configure the scanner. Is there any kind of software that allows configure the scanner to RS232 or USB port?
Yes. All the barcodes that we make have a code associated with them. If you go back, let me just show. Yeah, for example, here in this sheet, if we look at the top code, A00 is start configuration 1. All these codes are executed when you scan them, but it is also possible if you set the scanner up as, or either you have a serial scanner or you use a USB scanner in serial mode, then you can have a two-way communication, and then it is possible to send a configuration string to the scanner. And what you would use is the A00 is the part of the string that you would send. If we go to the suffix, for example, here we have the suffix or default and a suffix. If you would send the scanner an escape, then SU RZ 7H Q1 7I, and then you press the enter key, then it would also execute this configuration on the scanner. So you can send it also as a serial string. If you send it as a serial string, you have to send an additional command to save the setting. You can, if you send this setting, as I just said, it will be executed, but once you power down the scanner and plug it back in, it will be forgotten. So you have to send an additional save settings command if you use the serial string to configure the scanner. But it is possible, yes.
Okay, thanks. And I have another question. You or Harry mentioned that the scanners allow so-called auto trigger mode.
Yes.
Can you tell more information how this auto trigger work? How this auto trigger mode works?
Yes. If you set the scanner up in auto trigger mode, it depends a bit on the type of scanner that you're using. If you have, for example, a laser scanner, once it is turned on, it will give you a red laser line. If you turn to auto trigger mode, it will only show a very faint laser dot, and the dot is used as a detection to see a barcode. If the dot detects a transition from white to black, then it will turn on the scanner, turn on the scan line, and then it will try to scan a barcode. The same is true for a 2D scanner. It will work on a low power mode, and once it detects movement, it will turn on the scanner and start to search for codes.
Okay, thanks. And we have some application when a customer would like to scan a barcode on a rotating Li-ion cell. And my question is how to configure for example, laser scanner for the maximum speed of scanning.
Yeah, most of our scanners per default we try, of course, to make them as fast as possible. So we try to make when you take the scanner new out of the box, we try to make it so that for 98% of all people, that is the ideal scanning speed, or the fastest possible, while still being able to scan most of the barcodes used. If a customer has a specific user case, they can always send an email to our support, and we can always help them. It's always possible to, for example, turn off code types that are not used. We can play with the redundancy. For example, when a code is scanned, we scan a code 2 times before we actually accept it as a valid barcode, and we do that to prevent the scanner from doing misreads and scanning things that aren't really there. But we can use these settings to tune and make the scanner faster if it is required, yes.
Another one?
Yes, I have another questions about new products. I don't know if it's a question for you or for Harry. So do you have any new products, or do you develop any new products?
Yes, we definitely have new products. Our main product is for us the OEM products, and we develop new scan engines for faster scanning, and also to scan from a deeper depth of field and with smaller barcodes. So we are still developing new scan engines that we will integrate also in other products as well. And recently we are selling now the NLV 5201. That's our fastest 2D scanner at the moment in the fixed mount range.
Mm-hmm. I just noticed that this MDI 5000.
Yes, exactly.
It's a new scanner
Yes.
from
Yeah.
mentioned on the Opticon.
Yeah.
Can you name some advantages of this scanner against the
Yeah.
MDI
4100? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
The main difference between the two models is that the 5000 series is able to scan from a bigger distance and also higher density barcodes. So if you have a high density barcode from 40 or 50 centimeter, the MDI 4100 cannot decode it, but the 5000 series can. So that's the main advantage of the device.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to ask also that do you focus mainly on the 2D scanners, or there is some development also in CCD or laser scanners?
No, the main focus is on 2D scan technology. If you look to the scanning part of Opticon, and besides scanning, we also focus on ESL technology. So if you look to the CCD and 1D scanning, we still have some products of 2 or 3 years ago that are still working fine, and that can be used in retail application in a very good way. If you go to a retail store and you can still work with a 10-year-old 1D scanner, you don't need to make advance of that. But our main focus for Opticon is 2D scan technology. Yes.
The 2D scan technology is also getting so much better that if you look at 10 years ago, scanning a 2D barcode, it was very slow, it was sluggish, while scanning a 1D code with a 1D scanner was very fast. But nowadays the 2D scanners are getting so fast and so good that the 2D scanners performance on 2D but also on 1D barcodes are so good that it is almost comparable to a 1D scanner scanning a 1D code. So the performance is getting to a point where it makes no difference using a 2D versus a 1D scanner. And also the cost of a 2D scanner is getting more and more affordable nowadays.
Yeah, you see nowadays you see some applications with CCD modules that are used that are much smaller than 2D barcodes, and especially in Corona applications we built some devices for customers that use a CCD module instead of a 2D. But it was also not necessary to read a 2D barcode. So then you can also use CCD technology.
Yeah, and laser is used less and less nowadays because it's not able to scan barcodes from a screen or from a display. And while CCD and 2D technology can.
Yeah.
So that's why those are used more and more.
I noticed that there was one question from Stan, Denisa. Stan had one question regarding demos. I think a couple of weeks ago he asked for product guides, and we now I think 1 or 2 weeks ago we have a new product guide, and he asked me to send quite I think 50 or 100 units. Was that your question, Stan? Could you ask Denisa?
I can ask him, and I can give him also the possibility to answer.
Yes.
I'll just give me a second. I'll have to find him. And in the meantime, if you could answer about the samples, do you provide samples?
To SOS? Yeah,
Customers?
to customers. Well, you are our customer. You are our interface to end users.
Like to what?
And that's also what we decided. You are our system integrator or reseller or distributor. So we have no direct contact with your customers. So, of course, when we have a new product, we can organize some demo devices for it. That's absolutely no problem. For products that we're already selling for a couple of years, we already know these devices are fine. They work excellent. So you don't need really a demo for it. Of course, we can start marketing action to provide some discount on devices. That, of course, that is a possibility. That's always a possibility.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was a question about the samples and Stano. Could you
Yeah,
please
I'm sorry.
Hi, Stan.
Hi.
Good morning.
Yeah, the product guide
Yeah.
will be available soon.
Yeah, we have now, but you ask quite a lot, because most of the people nowadays, they use just the digital copy, but you ask for the printed version, and of course it's possible, but we have to print them for you.
Okay.
But that's no problem, Stan. We can handle that for you. No problem.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Are you fine?
Great.
Yeah.
Yes?
Still here.
Still, yes.
Healthy.
I'm sorry?
And healthy.
And healthy.
Still healthy.
Ah, still healthy. So within a couple of months I can visit you.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Okay. I hope so too. Denise, are there some more questions?
Yeah, one more. Maybe it's just a general question regarding allocation. How is Opticon facing this problem as allocation? Do you feel it any allocation problems?
You mean the stock? Well, we have.
Yes.
We
Your stock is affected. Or
Yes.
your products are affected.
Of course it is, but in general the fixed mount and OEM modules are our standard products. So it means that we keep them on stock, also for bigger customers, because they make a forecast, and based on that forecast we buy products. But of course there are some products, other products as well, that face some problems because of lack of production of components. But in general, with the fixed mount and OEM modules, we don't have a big problem at the moment. So we can deliver from out of stock.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Miro, do you have any question?
Actually, yes, thank you, Denisa. I just noticed that the Opticon has a new nice ring scanner RS3000.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell some
Well,
information, some advantages about the scanners?
Yeah, officially you are not allowed to sell this product, because we focus on fixed mount scanning and OEM. And this is a ring scanner. So, but of course, if you are interested in it, we made also already some videos of the ring scanner. You can find them on our website, and everything is described about the engine, about the ring scanner. And for me, the main advantage for the ring scanner is that our NDI 4100 is integrated in it. So it means that the scanning performance is excellent. Also the Bluetooth has been improved, so it's a very beautiful device. But if you want to have some more information about it, I would recommend you to watch our videos.
On the YouTube channel.
And also on the YouTube channel.
Opticon World.
Opticon World,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Is that okay?
Yes, okay,
Yes,
thanks.
the product will be available, I think, in the first week of December. Then it will be on stock. Okay?
Okay, any question from your side?
Yes.
No more question from me.
Stano, do you have anything? What would you like to ask? Is there something unclear?
No, everything is clear. Thanks.
Okay, well, I do not see any more questions either.
Okay.
And so, Harry, from my side, I just would like to thank you for your time and effort preparing such a great webinar for us and for studio also.
Yeah, especially
And,
Gavin and Ben. Eh? You have to thank. Yeah, you have to thank Ben and Kevin. Yes.
So,
Yes.
are you already? Thank you. We still see you, so you do not have to hide. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Harry, then thank you.
Yeah, I
No
hope to see
problem.
you soon in live.
I really
Can we
hope
get
that
some Lego?
we can
Yeah.
see you here in SIS Electronic.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
The boxes are empty. Huh?
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
Same to
And
you.
also
For you
thank
too.
you
Bye bye.
to
Bye
all
bye.
attendees who stayed with us. Bye bye.
Bye
Have a
bye.
great day.
Bye.